All right, guys, real quick before we dive into today's video, we only have one day left between now and tomorrow, Monday, November 27th at midnight, to take advantage of the LiveView Black Friday special, where you can get 25% off the LiveView Pro 2 and almost 50% off the LiveView Pro 1. It's the best form of feedback. It's the one thing I found that can consistently help you get better faster. I'm telling you, simultaneous video feedback is the key. I'm gonna show a little video for the next 50 seconds on how it can benefit you. I hope you'll watch that. Then we'll dig into today's video. I want to talk to you today about LiveView Golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. LiveView is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out LiveView Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. All right, guys, if you're someone who's looking to increase how solid you hit your irons and the consistency with which you can press those irons day to day, today's video is gonna help you a ton. Out here with Mr. Trevor Salzman. Appreciate you being out here, buddy. Hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy this one. I know it's really gonna help you. We're gonna talk about the three main motions during the downswing so you can get to and through a solid, consistent impact. We're gonna give you a drill to do and then show you some feels that you can use to get back to that spot. Trevor, I saw you do a really awesome drill. I think it was on your YouTube and Instagram. We're also gonna put all of Trevor's info in the description down below for after. Wait till after this video to go watch those. I saw you do this drill and kind of explain it. I'd love for you to show us the drill that you give your students to get into a good impact, to hit those solid shots, and then maybe we'll talk through some of the kind of goods and bads and how they could use it in their own game.
Yeah, absolutely. So the drill that I like to do, so I call it an impact drill. It's one of the variations of impact drills that I would use. So it's combining those three movements that we talk about, guys. So we have to have rotation, we have to have side bending or lateral flexion. We need a form of extension. So what I like to do in a very simplistic way for you guys out there is if you took a golf club, you held it in your belt just like this. So if this is right here in your belt line, you'd extend your arms out to where they'd be here. What you can use this for now is you can use this for a relationship of how much we're actually turning. So the first thing I would do is I'm gonna pressure my lead side. I'm gonna put my lead hip over my left shoe. Now from here, I'm gonna take this, we're gonna call this 0 right here. We're gonna rotate this 45 degrees. So this would be our rotation component. Then from here, I've got the grip and I've got the club head at the same level. My extension component is going to be taking the club head higher than the grip. So this would be my extension. And then what I'm going to throw into the mix there is I'm going to throw in my side bend or my lateral flexion. So this would basically be where I'd be getting to through the golf ball and at impact. So again, we're combining rotation, extension, getting the club head higher than the grip, and then side bending or laterally flexing the spine right here. And then what we can do is we can take that feel into where we are at the golf ball. I'd say, okay, there is my place. This is where I'm trying to get to in my motion. My pressure's forward. I've rotated 45. I have a form of extension moving in, and I have side bend that's keeping me in the shot. This is what's allowing me to compress the golf ball, start it on line, and doing it with the least amount of manipulation with the hands. If all we're doing is extending, I'm gonna have to throw the hands at it. If all I'm doing is side bending or tilting, I'm gonna get stuck back here. And if all I do is rotate, I'm gonna be probably outside in. So we need to learn how to combine those three movements in order to create a solid foundation at impact.
That was so beautifully said. I don't even have any questions to follow up after that, Trevor. Let's say I was working, and I'm gonna do a couple in a moment. How would you start the process? Are you like posing that and then hitting from that position? Like how would they start to do the drill?
So the very first thing, I think this is an important piece of the puzzle for players when it comes to learning. We always need to know what a starting point is, and we always need to know what a finish point is, because that's what kind of allows us to fill in the middle ground. So a lot of times with players, before I go into anything with the backswing or the downswing, I'm going to build out a setup with them that's going to be conducive to hitting good shots and balance. I'm going to build out an impact location for them so they know where they're trying to get to in space. So when we go in here and we take our setup, I would then take the club here and I would say, all right, well, we all know we have to have some form of pressure forward, guys.
Really
so
good point there with that, yeah.
typically we would see the lead hip is going to be about a golf ball forward, or we could say the lead hip is going to be over the lead shoe. So that would be making sure that we're getting the center points of our body in front of the ball, which is key to the compression of the shot. And then for us to hit the golf ball straighter, we're building symmetry in our through side. We're rotating 45, just like we'd rotate 45 in the back. So we're building symmetry there. We're extending to get the golf club out of the ground, and we're side bending to stay in the shot. And so it's like, all right, so I would start people right here. I might have you hold this for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. What does this feel like? And then from here, I'm going to work this back, and I'm just going to repeat. What did that feel like? And I'm just going to go back, repeat what that felt like. Because we as people, we're so much better at copying feels. I truthfully believe this. Like, we suck at copying thoughts. And everybody that I work with, they try and take 7 thoughts into hitting a golf ball, and they're like, wow, golf sucks now. So rather than taking your thoughts into it, take a feel into it. And that's what I like to do. That's how I'd build that out with a player.
Masterclass on explaining and demonstrating that. If you would just repeat one time, you went through each one of those. I think that's so important for you guys to listen to this. The first thing you did was say the pressure forward. Most of when I see people do impact drills, they miss that component of it. I'm really glad and very smart you put that in there. If you could just go through that briefly one more time. You said pressure forward for this, rotation for this, extension for this.
So I would start here. This would be me being neutral 50-50. So I'm going to pressure myself forward. So now I've got probably 65-70% of my weight on the left.
And what's the benefit of that?
That is going to be so that I'm getting my center points in front of the golf ball. So when I pressure myself forward, this is going to be where the golf club is bottoming out now.
That's like solid contact, low point.
If I'm back here, that's where the golf club is going to bottom out. So if I did this drill from right here,
which a lot of people do that.
This is the issue right here. I see a lot of people out there working so hard on getting open. You got to get forward and get open though as well. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on the contact piece of it. It can look really, really cool on video. But again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make golf shots better. We're not just trying to look really cool on video.
So pressure forward for the contact. And then the 45-degree rotation.
So this 45 degrees of rotation from here, this would be symmetrical to the 45-degree turn we would create in our backswing. Our extension, that would be the club head higher than the grip. That's what gets us out of the ground.
So that's like, so the club doesn't just go straight into the turf.
So the club doesn't just stay down into the turf like that. That's going to be getting it into the turf, out of the turf. And then from there, once I'm into this extension, then I'm going to have side bend to allow me to stay in the shot so the club can continue to arc around the spine like this.
God, that's so good. So those main motions, beautifully explained. That was excellent. Those main motions that you do in there, you need to have all of those to be able to get to that good, consistent impact for all the reasons he said. Maybe just one more time, Trevor. Let's just go through if maybe what you have too much of. Let's say the player has all of rotation but no side bend and extension. What that would look like from the down the line.
So this is probably what Eric sees. This is what I see as the most common issue for players is they get in here. So if I just held this right here, and all I created was rotation, that's going to take this too far forward. So if I'm right here, where's this club now coming from? Because again, the golf club is going to follow the direction that the neck and the chest moves and the eyes move. So if all I'm doing is rotating, well, now this club is going to be coming from this direction. If we're trying to fade it, great. If you're not trying to fade it and you want to hit a straight ball, you want to hit a draw, this isn't going to be conducive for that.
So that player probably will take steep divots, hit like pulls and fades.
Exactly.
And then what about if the guy, not like me per se, but let's say they have a lot of side bend and extension, but not enough of the rotation.
So this was me. This was me back in the day. So this would be the side bending and the laterally flexing without rotation. So now this person is going to struggle with creating contact. So they're just your linear drive or side bender And now I'm throwing the ball out to you and hitting massive blocks and hooks.
Pushes and hooks.
Yep, yeah, exactly.
And I think that's important. I'm gonna hop in there, Trevor, and try this here. When you guys are looking at these drills too, to understand where you fall on and what piece of the puzzle you need to fix. Because of course we want you to do this right and get them all, but depending upon where you're coming from, you might need to feel more of a certain element, right, that we're talking about.
That is such a good point right there. Like, know what you need to fix.
So we're going into here. Okay, this, I'm gonna go pressure forward. I'm so glad you said that too. It's a big piece we missed. Turn 45.
Yep.
Get the club head above, which is the extension part.
That'd be the extension.
And then the side bend.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Let me do that one more time. So pressure forward, here, here. And then you said when you're doing this, Trevor, you would have someone do that, try and replicate that same feel,
yeah,
and probably hold for like 5 seconds.
Absolutely. So you can see right here, so Eric's got his side bend in, he's got his rotation in, and you can see he's moving into the form of extension right there. So now he has a feel for what he's trying to do down at the moment of truth.
And the idea here is if I have a really good feel for where I'm going, that should increase the odds of my ability to get there.
This would be effective practice.
Okay, so
effective
I'm gonna feel
practice.
that. So for me, relative to my normal, that definitely has a sensation like I feel a little bit more side crunch and a little bit more rotation of my pelvis.
For sure.
Which tells me I'm probably not doing enough of that in my normal. I'm gonna try and get to that same feel. Pressure's still forward as I do that. Let me go ahead and hit with that same thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and there we go. And that was very solid. Yeah, so I definitely feel for me, Trevor, compared to normal, a little bit more of the side bend. I normally do the extension part enough. I feel a little bit more of the side bend and the rotation pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
I think it's great.
Yeah, for me to be able to take that. So listen, guys, again, when you're going through these drills, really key, like for me, if we were going to hit and do some of those, we'd be identifying which pieces I need more of based on my own tendencies. And that's where a great coach can come into play to help you identify that. So we're gonna put Trevor's, that was beautiful. Very, very well done. We're gonna put Trevor's info down below if you wanna see him for online lessons, in-person lessons, go watch his YouTube videos. Awesome, awesome stuff. That'll be down below. We'll put CogornoGolf.com. Regardless of who you go see or what you do, find someone who can help you identify those. You can do these drills and maximize their effectiveness for you guys. Appreciate you guys watching. That was killer.